Hello and welcome. This is Now Showing. I'm Atika Farooqui. This week, a woman who plays the most celebrated Indian woman cricketer draws parallels between she and her. It's rockets and missiles at the box office that we review, and it's Netflix's She Season 2 that is being talked about and how. Let's begin the show with the headlines. Rocketry, the Nambi Effect is a real emotional story of an ISRO scientist accused of espionage. An informative film could have been done with better direction and writing. Taapsee Pannu plays famous Indian cricketer Mithali Raj, tells us about the things that set the skipper a class apart. She Season 2 has been one of the top 10 most watched on Netflix. Globally, we meet the producer, director and the actress. And meet brothers on the music that they think sets them apart. Let's talk about Rocketry, the Nambi Effect that releases in cinema halls this week. Well, it is a biographical film based on S. Nambi Narayanan, an Indian aerospace engineer who worked at the Indian Space Research Organization. He was awarded the Padma Bhushan, the third highest civilian award by the Government of India in 2019. He was instrumental in developing the Vikas engine that would be used for the first PSLV that India launched. The film, which is written, acted and directed by Madhavan, is a tell-all tale of a man who put India and science first, sacrificed his family life for his patriotism and still was wronged by his own people and the officials on fake charges of espionage and cheating his own country. In 1994, he was arrested. The charges against him were dismissed by the CBI in 1996, and the Supreme Court of India declared him not guilty. The film opens on the November of 1994 morning that marked the beginning of the aerospace engineer's ordeal when he is hauled away unceremoniously to a police station from outside a temple, and his family is humiliated and assaulted for no fault of theirs. Rocketry chronicles the journey of Nambi Narayanan, who as a young scientist effortlessly manages to crack profitable deals outside his country that would help their department back home and India's Mars mission. Be it earning a scholarship at Princeton University, making a ridiculous demand from the CEO of Rolls-Royce, leading a team of 52 scientists to learn technical know-how from the French, and accomplishing some impossible tasks. And lastly, convincing the Russians to sell their technology to India at an affordable price. Madhavan does all this and more with so much charm and conviction. The film's first half is almost the entire physics curriculum that I have studied till date. Heavy-duty technical terms about satellites, rockets, space engines, solid fuels, liquid fuels, international universities and all that. It's all science in the first half. I checked again. Is it a Bollywood movie? Yes, it was, but with a purpose. Not just to entertain, but to educate also, which is a purpose our films have kind of forgotten in the recent past, as we have got so used to jargon, romance and drama in our films. Nambi Effect is a lesson in ambitions, patriotism and love of science, and a scientific attitude and temper. The second half is more of a drama where the scientist is questioned, subjected to third-degree torture, is ostracized by the society. His wife Meena, brilliantly played in this film, though she has a psychological shock and trauma for so long. I was quite engrossed in the human story, which is sadly a real story. It is factual. An interview with Narayanan by a superstar is also a highlight. Let me not spoil it for you by giving out the name of that superstar, but there were moments in the interview, especially towards the end, that make for a teary watch. The look of Madhavan as Nambi Narayanan is close, quite authentic. He manages to bring in the connect here. The film has tried to stick to the basics of storytelling. The ups and downs and twists in Narayanan's life are so many that not much in terms of writing has been added to the script. It's an advantage as well as a disadvantage, as the movie lacks a dexterous writing and also, to some extent, a skilled hand at direction. Madhavan, being a debutant director, could not possibly add textures to the story as well as an experienced director could have done. Also, the film follows the story of Narayanan so vehemently that the protocols at ISRO and the government are kind of undermined for the sake of the narrative, and celebrating the man and his bravery and wit here. Director Madhavan shows scenes like escaping from the USSR with rocket parts, suggesting to land the plane first in Pakistan to avoid being caught, to taking 52 scientists at his will to train with the French. It sounded like hero worshipping, like a James Bond story. It did happen in real life, but the movie shows little regard to the processes. At 157 minutes, the film definitely gets a bit lengthy, and a sharper edit, especially in the first half, could have made it like a tighter watch. But I'm glad that such a film got made, celebrating a real-life hero. Watch it with family, especially with kids and young adults. Viacom 18's new film Shabash Mithu is a celebration of women's cricket. Taapsee Pannu plays the Indian women's cricket team captain Mithali Raj, who recently announced her retirement from the game. She talks about a personality analysis and a comparison between the two. And why is Mithali Raj who she is? Hi. So I'm quoting from Taapsee Pannu's Instagram about the woman she's playing, Mithali Raj. The only Indian cricketer to captain the team in 4 World Cups and reached finals twice. Youngest cricketer to score 200 in a test match. Highest scoring Indian cricketer in the debut international match. The only Indian cricketer to score 7 consecutive 50s in ODI. 23 years from hustle to glory. The woman who didn't make history, but she made her history. That is her story. ये कह रहे हैं मिताली राज के बारे में, और मिताली राज को इनसे बेहतर और कौन प्ले कर सकता था? तापसी पन्नू.
Thank you, but I think I missed one stat.
Yeah.
She has the longest ODI career in the world across genders.
Yeah.
Across genders, and men and women mila ke, longest career, so almost 23 years.
23 years.
Yeah.
And she's been awarded Padma Shri, of course, Arjuna Award, and
Khel
now
Ratna.
Khel Ratna Award.
Yeah.
Amazing. जब ये film announced हुई थी, somewhere around 2019,
Yeah.
Your film Sant Ki Aankh had released.
Yeah.
तो वो आप उस zone में तो थी, गोली मार दूंगी, पत्थर मार दूंगी, ये कर दूंगी. But when you got the script, what was your, because you know, Rumi said what you're seeking is seeking you.
I think I've always been in a sports zone in my life, even when I didn't know that I'll become an actress. Because I've been playing sports since I was a kid, since my memory go back.
Which sport?
I used to race. I played badminton. I played a little bit of basketball as well. I was just so fond of sports.
Yeah. You play Mithali Raj. And when I see Mithali and I see you, somewhere I see similarities. Let me get it from you कि आप दोनों के बीच में क्या similarities हैं, क्या differences हैं.
चलो ठीक है.
Who's more short-tempered?
I think I'll be.
Who loves fashion more?
Mithali, I think.
Really?
I think I feel, not that I had this direct discussion with her, I feel observing her that I've been doing last couple of years like a stalker. I think she likes to dress up and get ready. I have a feeling. I'm not sure, but maybe you can ask Mithali when you meet her. That's my observation.
Yeah, and she said somewhere that I love Kareena Kapoor's wardrobe, which is most unlikely.
Very fashionable then, you know, much more than me. I'm not a person who's into fashion and all, but I think she likes.
Amazing. Who likes food more?
I think I will take that. I'm obsessed with eating.
Okay. Who is politically more aware?
I think she's a very well-read person. I feel I'll give it to her.
Which one of you is more romantic?
None of us, I think. None of us, I think. I think I'm taking this liberty. और मिताली कहेगी क्या बोल रही है ये? So, but as from my observation of her and knowing myself, I don't think either of us are romantic.
Romance के बिना life होती है?
यार हाँ, मतलब हमारा कुछ not so romantic romance चल रहा life के साथ.
Who's more mindful of parents' opinions?
I think her. I have always gone against it.
Actually. Who's more likely to go to a disc to celebrate success?
None of us.
Okay.
None of us. I think I can say that.
Okay. Who likes romantic movies more?
She doesn't watch many movies, so I think it'll be me.
Okay. Who starts to sing a song first on a beautiful day?
I don't think either of us. I am the pathetic singer. I would want to just save that song. I won't sing it. But I've not really seen or observed her humming or talking about songs as much.
Okay. Who wakes up earlier in the day?
I think she would, because she's had a routine of certain sorts. Some days I wake up early, but usually I wake up around 6:37. So I think she's used to waking up earlier.
Of course. Who's likely to win a fist fight?
I think she will. Pretty strong.
Anna? She's
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
strong.
Bloody arm strength for that bat.
Seriously. Who's taller between you two?
I am.
Okay. Who's more likely to pick up a fight on the road?
Me.
Punjab.
There's no way she's going to pick up any fight anywhere on road, or even on the ground, on the pitch. Nowhere.
She's quite.
She's very calm, very
quiet,
cool,
demure,
very
no?
relaxed.
Who will win a 100-meter race?
Okay, from whatever I know of her, from all my trainers, I think I will.
Also your movies also, na? They have also trained
हाँ,
you well
मतलब
enough.
अगर अभी जल्दी से कर लोगे रेस तो शायद मैं जीत जाऊँ.
Rashmi Rocket.
A couple of years later, I don't know.
Who believes more in destiny?
I don't know who believes more in destiny, but मैं तो destiny पे ही बैठी हूँ. मैंने तो कभी सोचा नहीं था actor बनने का यार.
ऐसा नहीं है
No, but I never thought of becoming an actor. I decided to become an actor after my first film released. So destiny has given me this career that I was meant. God sent me this message by means of making my first films work to tell me that this is what is meant for you. Otherwise I would have done some school play, skit, drama, na, to have some training of any sort. Whereas she knew that she wanted to become a cricketer very early in her age, and she pursued that.
Yeah.
So that ways, I guess destiny has been more instrumental in deciding my career.
And she also trained to be a cricketer. However, you learnt it on the job.
Yes, I learnt my acting job on the job, and she trained too. And she very early on she knew that she wanted to become a cricketer.
Okay. And lastly, who's more likely to get male attention in a crowd?
Yeah, it depends who the male is. Do you like the more the crazy one? Then maybe me. If you like the more quieter and the more observant and the more mysterious one, then maybe her.
That's nice. But ये भी बहुत अच्छी analogy है. लोग
हाँ.
ये समझते नहीं है that not all women like only one kind of a man,
Exactly.
and not all men like one kind of a woman.
Totally. I am like, if you talk to women, then you'll know that no, some people say, oh, that's such a hot guy, but I might not find him hot. So there are different reasons to find a person hot, right? So it varies.
So what kind of men do you find hot?
Who don't try too hard to look hot. It's in their personality. If you try too hard and make an effort, that is a big put off.
True. Have you ever met that kind of a man?
Who tries too hard to look hot?
Who doesn't try to? Who doesn't?
Yeah, who doesn't try to look. That's why I'm in a very, what do you say, not so confused personal life, state of life, mind. That, yeah, I mean, for me, I am very sure of the kind of person I'm with.
And what's the best compliment a man has given to you?
No, that maybe the one that I got was that, okay, you're not a very difficult person to live with. To be with in the sense, I'm a difficult person to be with actually, because you can't come very head on and try to overpower and stay with me. You really need to be a man to be a very secure man, in fact, to be with me. But if you are that, it's very easy to live with me, because I don't have some skyrocketing expectations of
to
lifestyle.
Take care of me or pamper me.
That ways, yeah. So that ways it's relatively easy to live with me.
She Season 2 has been talked about during the release of both the seasons. A story of a senior constable in Mumbai police, Bhumika Pardeshi, who gets undercover to bust the drug mafia, is being liked for her Maharashtrian accent on screen and portraying a woman who displays exemplary survival instincts. A talk with the producer Imtiaz Ali, director Arif Aalia and the actress Aaditi Pohankar.
This is quite a grey character, and we are not very used to watching grey women characters on screen, especially in your movies. Where does this greyness of her character comes from, and why did you think that she would be liked by the audience?
Well, I hoped that she would be liked by the audience. And I feel that in the case of Bhumi, the paradigm was constantly shifting. And with the paradigms, morality was shifting. You know, you knew that this is good and that is bad, but the basis on which you had made those assumptions changes. You know, suddenly there is a different level of survival that you are faced with. And that Bhumi was faced with. And then in order to survive, she did a lot of things and in that journey, she realized that everything that she was thinking is bad is not so bad. Or there is good and bad is good. Like if you see the sign of the yin and the yang, there is a little black inside the white, in the heart of the white, and vice versa. And then when you see that, like when she realizes that with Nayak, with that kind of criminal setup, there is the butterfly of freedom in that world. You know, that is how evil, or that is how darkness can seduce someone, you know. So I was interested in that journey for Bhumi. Also because the choice of surviving is the only choice she takes, you know, that मैं जिएगी, सब जी रहे मैं भी जिएगी, मैं मरेगी नहीं. After that, once you say that, then you have to go because you've been put into a certain world. So it was interesting when I think the moralities of Bhumi was being challenged.
And we know that she too is actually trending in Netflix global top 10 right now. What's your reaction to that? And what do you think is that one thing about the season that has really made it work?
I think my reaction to that is like, this is very, very gratifying, because I have been watching shows and movies from all across the world, you know, from South America to Japan to here, and then to have somebody else watch what I have made in these places is something which is quite, you know, personally gratifying.
That's true. That's true. Aditi, let me come to you. Like I said, this character is quite an edgy character. It has very strong connotations of likes and dislikes. I mean, the kind of boldness that your character had to show on screen, the kind of things that you had to exhibit on screen and enact on screen. Did it put you at unease at times, and in a frame of mind thinking, how would it be received by the Indian audience?
Well, honestly, I was more worried about Bhumi, not about my image, very honestly. So whatever was happening to Bhumi was bothering me to an extent that it didn't even occur to me what is this going to be looked upon as by the audience. So every time Bhumi went through an intimate scene in her mind, that I'm probably doing it out of love or I'm plotting it, either way, her heart was beating at a very fast pace, you know, because her sexuality is her biggest power, is what she has realized. But now using it and for pleasure or for, you know, something that is probably, like Imtiaz sir said, survival. So she's not used it because she's used it because she doesn't have a choice at some intervals. But she also knows that there is something that she's discovered about herself during this process.
First season was more about Sasya, played by Vijay Verma, and Bhumika. This time he chose to make Nayak the super villain. And Nayak is somebody who's portrayed by Kishore Kumar, a very good actor from down south. And he actually belongs to Kerala.
Erstwhile Andhra Pradesh is what I was going for. And there's a place called Rayalaseema over there, which has a history of a certain type of violence. So I kind of borrowed from that idea of people like killing each other, families in the rural areas. And then from there spurts this dark flower called Nayak and how he takes over the underworld of the country. So that came through and it looks very interesting.
We are heading for a short break here. After the break, we meet the Meet brothers, Manmeet Singh and Harmeet Singh, on their chart busters that set your foot tapping on the dance floor. Chittiyan Kalaiyan way, and lots more after this break. Welcome back to Now Showing. I'm Atika Farooqui. Up next, we have Bollywood's ultimate hit machine, Meet Brothers, talking about their equation with singer Kanika Kapoor, with whom they've collaborated for such chart busters like Baby Doll, Chittiyan Kalaiyan from Roy, and Love Letter from the film The Legend of Michael Mishra, to name a few. My colleague Vishal Chatkara caught up with the musical duo earlier this week and got them talking about their new song titled Bandeya. And how often do they consult a legal expert before releasing a new song? Listen in.
Manmeet and Harmeet, Bandeya this is of course your new song which you collaborated with Sadhguru and the singer couple Sajet Parampara. So first, please tell us about the song, its message. The song was of course launched in Vigyan Bhavan in Delhi in the presence of PM Modi.
Absolutely, and the song is very simply says itself ki Mati Anmol hai Bandeya. Our soil is very, very precious because the existence of humanity is based on the soil. So Save Soil campaign ke liye, this song has been made, designed, thought, everything as per Sadhguru's brief.
You know, both of you are brothers who make music together. So which are the areas do both of you specialize in that makes you as a great team which works so well?
Well, 90 to 95% we are identical twins. We are like, the future of the world is cloning. So we both compose together, we sing together. Our concept is only two brother, one voice, which is what makes a difference. So we've never tried to have our own specializations as such. Business-wise, yes, Manmeet is a very good negotiator. He's a very good convincer. He's got a very different business sense. I'm more of an operation guy, micros, processes, systems, and very, very organized to make the system organized that way. And he's more of an entrepreneur, promoter.
What is it about Kanika and her voice that you most of your chart busters are with her, and you of course share a very a great working equation with Kanika Kapoor?
There's more to what we have. I think it's some kind of a blessing, and maybe sometimes you have certain relationships with people when you just feel very different about them, and maybe they're just from much before than and there's more to than because whenever we come together, our melodies just when she sings them, and I think they're made for each other kind of stuff. But the Punjabi peppiness that we have, and it sits very well in her voice, and now we understand her stronger notes in her vocal cords. So we compose around those notes. So whatever songs we've done with her, it could be anything, whether it was promoted, not promoted. If it has come out, I think it's crossed 50 million, which is, I think, a miracle. So we don't take any credit for it. This is just, I think, she's our childhood friend. Our brother was with us in school, so we known her since she was 13. So I think it's more camaraderie than just about music.
You're a creative duo who make these peppy songs together. But before recording a song, do you often consult a legal expert about the lyrics? Because today you don't know who gets offended, and maybe we have seen a community or an organization suing a film producer or a music company.
So we travel so much, and we are very social. We read a lot, and primarily when you're a well-read person and travel the globe, you exactly know how the world thinks, what their sentiments are, what is to be said and what is not. We have gone to very good school and colleges where we have understood what the civic sense is. So 99% we are very clear.
Like, you have this theatre's PVR, like that we have a PWR policy that in whatever we do, whether it's song or whatever, we try to stay away from PWR, which is politics, women and religion. these three things hurt people the most. And also with more entertainers, our job is to give good moments to people. There are enough people who are there to raise an issue or talk about it or we do have our perspectives. But I personally feel that our job and our role is to when there's so much stress happening and so much heated stuff happening in the country, we're supposed to come up with a nice, peppy, happy song that makes people happy and gives them a moment like break, So we focus on that.
That's all in today's episode. Thank you so much for being with us. I recently saw a poster that said, "Act like you can't afford that bread until they realize you own that bakery." Stay humble. Always stay humble. See you next week. Until then, goodbye.